Hey everybody, I'm Eric, and I'm going to be giving you a quick gameplay demo and review for Uncharted Golden Abyss for the PlayStation Vita. Now, as one of the launch titles for the Vita, Golden Abyss is really the only one that shows off the system's true potential, which should probably be expected of an Uncharted game at this point. They've always been beautiful, and this is no exception. It's really on par with Drake's Fortune on the PS3 in terms of just the pure visuals, the animations, the textures, even down to little things like the water physics and the way that your characters get wet when they splash through a stream or a river. It just looks unparalleled for a handheld and far above and beyond anything else that you're going to see on the Vita's launch lineup, which is really kind of surprising that no other studios were able to pull that off quite so well. I'm not sure why that is, but this really is a full Uncharted experience in your pocket. It's a lengthy campaign, easily as long as the console chapters. It's absolutely jam-packed with treasures, hidden items, charcoal rubbings that you can do using the touchscreen, tons of collectibles, tons of content to keep you coming back even after you beat it. And, I'm already playing it through a second time, and I'm still finding new things. Golden Abyss is on par with the console games in terms of story, too, or at least on par with most of the console games. I'd make an exception for Uncharted 2. I'd say that's far above and beyond the other games in the series, but, again, it's similar to Drake's Fortune. The main bad guy in Golden Abyss, Guero, isn't exactly the most memorable enemy you'll face in a game, but when you think about it, none of the enemies in the Uncharted games are really all that memorable, except again, in Uncharted 2, Lazarevich was a pretty good enemy. But, it's pretty much par for the course. There's a hidden treasure, there's a mysterious lady friend with questionable motives, there's a skeezy treasure hunter rival guy, warlord dude trying to find the treasure for his own nefarious means. It's pretty textbook, boilerplate. It's your standard Uncharted. It's what you would expect. But that doesn't mean that it's bad. It's actually written really well with a few rare exceptions. Some of Sully's dialogue later on in the game is a bit stupid, but other than that, really clever dialogue, really insightful writing. It gives you a deeper insight and more feeling into the character of Nathan Drake and his new companions, who are, if not as good as Elena and Chloe and all those guys, at least, they're putting forth their A game. They're almost there. And they are really endearing. I gotta say that the new lady, Chase, and Drake are pretty cute together, even though it's kind of awkward because, it's not going to work out in the end, this being a prequel and everything. So, before I start explaining any of the gameplay further, I'm just going to start showing off a section of the game here. So this is the menu of Golden Abyss, and you can see you can only navigate it with the touchscreen, not the buttons. Now that reflects one of the really small complaints, but complaints nonetheless, that I have with the game, is that when it comes to touch stuff, sometimes you can do it with the buttons or the touch, like the melee attacks, for example. You can hit square or you can hit an icon on the screen, but sometimes it's just the touchscreen, and it's kind of a little inconsistency. It doesn't really matter in the long term, but it is a little odd. So, like I said, I'm playing through the game for a second time now, and I'm sort of about 2/3 of the way through. I'm just going to pick up where I left off and show off a real quick snippet of gameplay. Loading times are surprisingly good, too. Better than the console versions, even in some cases. although it does take a bit of time to initially get into the game. After that, it's all smooth going. Alright, here we go. So, immediately, you can just see how beautiful this game is. And, you know, the animations are smooth, they chain together nicely. Just like in the console games, it's really impressive. So let's head forward here a little bit. Got all the voice actors from the console games reprising their roles here. So now we're going to see a little bit of gunplay, and if there's one complaint, not really a complaint really that I have, but just it takes some getting used to using the small analog sticks on the Vita for shooting, because I am used to the PS3 controls, and the analog sticks are naturally a little bit shorter, obviously. But once you get past it, it's something that you do get used to within the first hour or two. And, you know, you'll be doing fine pretty soon after. Now, sometimes, I don't know if I can get it to work here, the cover will be a little awkward. Let's try to pop out and around. Okay, it worked that time. Sometimes, when you try to pop out of cover, it doesn't quite work right, and you'll end up just kind of stumbling out blindly. But the vast majority of the time, it all works exactly as it does on the console, which is to say that it's just about perfect. So you can see a little bit of the basic platforming here. The platforming hasn't really changed. It's still a very, you know, almost a picture hunt kind of thing, looking for the glowing object. Okay, now I'm going to pick up a sniper rifle, and you can press the D-pad to zoom in. And do a little bit of platforming here. The soundtrack is also really good. You'll end up hearing a few recycled tunes from the console game. Here we have an example of something you can only do with the touchscreen, picking up treasures. And then you come with this screen of all the treasures that you've collected in the game so far. And like I said, there is an absolutely massive amount of treasures, even more than in the console games. And this is fairly late on in the game, so there's a ton of action going on right now. But it's worth noting that the pacing in this game actually crescendos really nicely, even more so than some of Naughty Dog's entries in the franchise. It starts off with a lot of sneaking and a lot of stealth, and then it really slowly introduces you to its combat mechanics. And then you end up getting into these crazy situations like this, with just, you know, tons of enemies, tons of stuff going on, and never even an inkling of slowdown. Always runs at a very smooth frame rate. Okay, so let's grab the AK, and we try to show off some of the touch-based hand-to-hand stuff. So when you come up to an enemy like this, oh, this is going to go badly. You can see icons on the screen, and wait for it, Yeah, you gotta swipe different directions instead of hitting buttons like you would on the console. Now, I've noticed some people have been taking issue with how much touch stuff there is in the game, and I really don't get that. I mean, it's all stuff like that. It's just, swipe here, swipe there to dodge a move. It's never in your face, it's never obtrusive, and really, the console games have all been peppered with similar mini games. You're just mashing on a button instead of swiping in a direction. This iteration of the game actually does a really good job, I think, of keeping you on your toes, because sometimes when you're climbing you might fall and you have to swipe up on the screen. Sometimes when you're you're fighting and you have to swipe a different direction to avoid it, or you might come across a treasure that needs to be cleaned off somehow.
I'll save this one for Chase.
So that'll require you to use the touch screen to clean it off, and the back touch panel to rotate it. And just a lot of variety with the different mini games, and none of them are particularly bad. They're all pretty good. They all fit into the fiction and the mythos of the world pretty well. And overall, I just feel like, so you can see
Dante would love this one.
tons of treasures here. But I mean, overall, it does not feel out of place to me at all. It just feels like a natural evolution of what Uncharted has always kind of been all about. And there are some similar elements here to the first game, really, like with the balancing. When you go across a log, you have to balance by tilting the system. When you throw grenades, when you have them in your inventory, I don't here, unfortunately, there's an icon that you have to touch and drag to the center of the screen, and I think that works really well. The balancing can be kind of dumb because just of the sheer amount of it that you have to do. But the grenade throwing works really well. Oh, surprise. You can see now I'm using the little icon on the corner to melee. Ooh, this is not good. So I think that's a good little vertical slice. You get some combat, you got some platforming, got some collectibles, and you got to see how absolutely gorgeous this game looks and how great it sounds too. As I was saying earlier, when I found the treasure and got distracted, the soundtrack is really great, pretty much par for the course. So that's Uncharted Golden Abyss. It looks gorgeous, it plays almost perfectly, and it's got a great story, a great cast of characters, and it's really well produced. There are a few finicky little issues here and there. Some of the touchscreen things don't fit quite right, and they're a little inconsistent. Sometimes the cover is not quite as sticky as it could be, but I mean, these are just really minor complaints in the grand scheme of things, and in the end, this is easily and absolutely the best Vita game you're going to find, I think, for a long time. So I give Uncharted Golden Abyss a 9 out of 10. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you later.